Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Garage Review. It's been a while since we had Garage Review on my channel. Don't worry, I have actually been reviewing a lot of garages, but ever since the whole Patreon thing, I've been doing a lot of personalized garages where I send personalized videos to the owners themselves. So you haven't seen one in a while, doesn't mean I haven't been doing them though. But today we're back with another episode of Garage Review. I thought that this was going to be a pretty good one to show off to the audience because this is a really small and niche garage. It's really cozy and it kind of just makes me take a step back and go and look at the core elements of the game once again. It's a pretty interesting one today for sure. So today's garage, we have Naka's garage. So shout out to Naka. His favorite brand is Lancia. I mean, even his YouTube username is Lancia Lover. His favorite brand is also BMW along with Lancia. His favorite country is Germany, and in terms of championships, he's still in the pretty lower levels, and he barely plays club. So with all of this taken into account, it makes just a really easy experience for me to recommend what cars are great for you and what cars you should get. So why I decided to showcase this garage, it's really small. As you can see, the video is only about a minute long for him to scroll from the beginning to the end. But I think this is a good way for me to really dive back into the core aspects of the game. Obviously, as my journey in top drives has progressed, I've been maxing out a lot of weird crap. Right, I've been maxing out E36 BMW M3s and some Nissan SUVs. Actually, I do recommend a Nissan SUV for this garage later, so maybe not that, but some really weird stuff. We're not talking Maloo, we're not talking 924, we're not talking 030 Colorado. No, I've been maxing out a lot of weird crap, and that is because I've realized that I've kind of already maxed out all the key cars in the game from Ultra and below. I'm starting to max all these other little niche things. So we're taking niche out of the window today. We're going back into the core aspects of the game, looking into what the main focus is to get a good variety garage, right? Especially if you're a low RQ player like him. RQ 500 actually is not low, that's the highest you can get, but low trophy count player, so under 4,000. It's all about focusing on variety, making sure that you have a standard tire, off-road performance, all that good stuff. So let's get into it for a garage review. So starting off with the commons, once again, I know that you are, I guess, not as big of a player. I know you're free to play, I know that you don't play clubs often, so your income into the game may not be as big where you can max out as many cars as, let's say, I do. So for recommendations, I'm going super basic here. We just saw literally his entire commons, took up the first 8 seconds of the video. What I'm gonna recommend for you is for cars to max your RQ13 Biposto, your Lotus MK1, and your Fiat Panda, all 969. The Fiat Panda right here is a decent off-road common. It's not the best, but it's a decent one. I would recommend the Rover 200 because that has amazing handling. It's pretty light, good 0 to 60. Another car that I really recommended for you would be the Lotus MK1 Cortina over here because it's medium and it's super light. It has decent handling to go along with it. So along with this, cars to get for your commons, I recommend RQ12 Citroen Sara Picasso, RQ12 VW Carmen Ghia, RQ15 VW Volkswagen Passat, RQ16 BMW 507 996, and RQ17 Mercedes-Benz 600 996. So why the Mercedes-Benz? It's a dictator Mercedes, as everybody knows, and the BMW is because they're both German cars, so they're going to fit you really well, Naka. It will fit your niche, your favorite country, and also they're really great cars in the game, great dragsters 996. The first three cars I recommended, the Sara, the Carmen, and the Passat, they're all, well, two are German, but they're all standard tires for the lower RQs, RQ12, RQ12, RQ15. Why I say this is because one pretty interesting thing about your common garage, let's just look at it here, right? Starting from literally the start, 10 all the way to 14, or I guess to 13 up to the Peugeots, which aren't maxed, you don't really have any standard tire variety. You don't even have a single RQ12, so that's pretty quirky as well. So that's why I'm recommending those cars. So moving on to uncommons now. Once again, let's just have a look. The uncommons, in my opinion, is a bit of a wasteland. I count 5 maxed out cars and 3 Twizzys. Yeah, Twizzys are key cars to be fair, but yeah, it's a wasteland. There's nothing maxed out here. It's really weird. So here are the cars that I have to recommend for you to max. These are cars that you already have. The first one would be the HP Forenza. So that's right at the start of your uncommon collection, right here. So the Vauxhall HP Forenza 969, the Chrysler 300H 996 because it's a great dragster for the quarter mile, only the quarter mile. Anything above the quarter mile is a no-no. The Lancia Beta Monte Carlo is actually a really great car. It hits 86 handling for an RQ23. It's quite insane, actually. And then it's also a Lancia, so it fits you really well. The Mazda Cosmo is great because it's medium standard tires, so it feels a niche, but you know, it also, not only a niche, but it's a big niche, right? The fact that you don't have a standard tire car in the lower RQs yet. Also, the Lancia Beta Coupe, as well as the Peugeot 309 GTI, both 969, both amazing cars, both medium ground clearance. This one has a great handling, this one has a great 0 to 60. So moving on now, cars for you to get, I would recommend for the uncommon ranks would be the RQ21 300 SL Mercedes 996, great little dragster, standard tires, as well as the RQ20 Mercedes V250D 996. It's a great hill climb car, high ground clearance, standard tires, also German, so it fits you well, and the RQ24 Opel Kadett 969, medium ground clearance, and those are 3 German uncommons that I would really recommend you to focus on. Moving on to rares, now this is where the most impressive garage, or the most impressive part of the garage is shown in the rare category, because a lot of key cars are maxed out, and that's what I've been seeing. A lot of garages are really strong in the rare categories. Everybody has a Max Lotus Elise 1.6, a Ghibli SS, a Skyline Hardtop 2000, and a Ford Escort Rally Spec. I don't think I've ever reviewed a garage that never had any of these maxed out. Maybe the Skyline, I've seen a couple of stock Skylines, but like the Ghibli, the Elise, everyone has it maxed out. So in my notes for what I have for rares, like I said, as far as your garage goes in relative terms, it's really impressive because I can see a variety. There were low RQ off-roaders, there was low RQ standards, there were high RQ standards, high RQ off-roaders. I'm saying this plural, but they're really just singular because I only saw one Range Rover, then I saw one Escort, Ford Escort. So, but you get what I mean. At least there's a variety in tires and ground clearance throughout the rare ranks, which is nice. But some things that I would really help, and yeah, the low RQ standard was the Lotus Elan. But one car that I would really recommend you to get would be the BMW 320i Si, and get that in 969 because it does have a niche that you do not have, a pretty big one too, and that is performance tires medium. You had some standard tires, medium, but you had no performance tire medium. So the BMW 320 Si is a good one to get. It's also German, so it fits kind of, you know, what you're specializing in, which is Germany, right? Also, you love BMW. 2 cars I would recommend you to max in your rare ranks. The first one would be the BMW 325, yep, iX, which we see right here for a 4-wheel drive standard, really good one, and the Renault Laguna Coupe. Both of them going to be 969. So, moving on, turn up the page, we're going into super rares now. Now, in terms of super rares, much like uncommons, it's pretty hard to look at. It's a bit of a wasteland. As you can see, everything here is basically stock, besides these 2 1-stars. I know I like to say max or nothing, and that's true. That really is the way that you should do things, especially when it comes to super rares. They're fairly easy to max. They can be tedious, but they are quite easy to max. Even at a player at your level, pretty easy to max because you can get rares from prize boards or from aluminums, tier 3, tier 4s. Actually, mostly tier 3s, not really tier 4s. Tier 4s, yeah, because tier 4s is a steel pack. No, so yeah, tier 3 is really. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I just expected to see more maxed out cars. I didn't expect to see everything max, but at least like maybe 1 or 2. But like as you can see here, it's like all empty besides 2 1-stars. So definitely a lot to work on. There's a pretty long list that I've given you for your super rares. Max out your Miura Roadster 996, your El Camino, as you can see over here, 996, your Peugeot 208, 969, your Opel GT, and oh yeah, that's gonna be it, just 4. So 2 dragsters and 2 twisties, 3 being low RQ and 2 being high RQ. We do see a little more maxed out ones here, but still missing out a lot of key ones like the Opel GT. Amazing car. The Clio Cup car is really good as well. Now I know for you, especially since you're probably a player that, you know, you don't probably end in tier 1 or tier 2 very often, because not only do those ranks grant you ceramic packs. I'm not talking about Tri-Series, I'm just talking about the normal, regular multiplayer events. Not only those events grant you a ceramic pack in your top 10 finish, you actually get a decent amount of cash. We're talking about, I think, about 20k to about 24k, something like that. What I would say is that since you probably don't finish in those positions very often, you probably don't get as much cash as maybe some other players might do, like, I don't know, me. So with that said, I would say I know that ceramic packs might be pretty hard for you to open, so I'm not going to recommend you too many super rares to collect. But one thing that I should really mention is to focus on getting a standard tire super rare between RQ44 and RQ47, because between RQ44 and RQ47 there's not a single standard tire super rare in there. And really my recommendation would be the RQ44 Subaru XT, but you could also go with, like, I don't know, the Buick Regal Turbo, which is not bad as well, 89 handling standard, but something that, you know, can fit those ranks. The Subaru and the Buick that I mentioned earlier, they're both medium ground clearance as well, so you can use them for the ground, city streets, because right now I know you have a maxed out ELR, which is amazing, and it can go mano a mano with a lot of the higher RQ Super standards. That being said, it is low now, so you might need something else for the city streets. And I know you do have a Volkswagen Phaeton, I believe, but, you know, somewhere in between the Phaeton and the ELR, right? We're talking 48 and 40, somewhere in between, like a 44 or a 45. But moving on to your ultra rares now. So let's talk about Fuse. We're just gonna, you know, have a nice look at your ultra rare collection. Like I said, I'm not gonna recommend anything that you don't have here, because ultra rares are really hard to get, especially at your level. So I would say for Fuse, you got 5 Fuse. Get rid of the RX-7 Spirit R, the Trailblazer SS, 1, you have 2. You only really need 2 if you play a lot of clubs, and you told me you don't play clubs, so there's really no point. BMW X5, the D Tomato, the red D Tomato, and the Audi S1, which is RQ64, and I think we're going to be seeing it right here. Yep, as you can see, it's stock as well. I do like the ultra rare collection though. It's like it looks like it's either max or nothing, which is really good, especially like if you can really capitalize on maxing out your ultra rares, especially on your trophy count level. You can catch a lot of players off guard, because a lot of players that are under RQ4000, they like to play how most players, most low RQ players play, which is something that I'm against, and that's like, you know, 1-starring everything, or maybe like putting a ghost upgrade in one ultra rare. It's maxed or nothing, right? And this like steadfast execution of your cars, with this like rule of max or nothing, will catch a lot of players in your RQ off guard for sure, because they'll be like, oh god, it's maxed, there's no way I can beat it. There is no way they can beat it, because if they have the same exact car and they max it out, it's only going to be a draw, right? But I do hope that a lot of your performance tire cars here are 223. I think this repeat as is 323. But I think you probably maxed it out when 323 was still a thing for Aston Martin. Obviously now they changed it up, it's 233. If you want to focus on your Gran Turismo, that's definitely 233. Most of the, or this Alpine over here, which I'm happy that you got 233 as well. In terms of cars that I do recommend you to max out though, would be the RQ62 X Siege S1. I would say go 699 on that. And the Porsche Turbo 968, that's a pretty interesting car. You can go 996 if you want, or 699. Personally, mine is 699 if you want to use that as a foundation or a stepping stool for what you want to do. Moving on to epics now, a couple Fuse epics here, 3 Fuse epics actually, so that's actually enough to get into 1 legendary. But that being said, you know, there's no rush. There's never a rush to put a Fuse into your legendary. Never a rush, unless there's a Tri-Series and you know that this is going to make the difference between tier 1 and tier 2, but besides that, there really isn't a rush to put a Fuse into a legendary, especially at your level. But if you can, at your level, put a Fuse into a legendary, that will be incredible. Like, that will be an incredible advantage over your competition. But the 3 Fuses would be the RQ65 D8 Audi Donkeyboard, the RQ69, nice, CX Experience, and the RQ71 Subaru WRX STI. This car, I just can't believe it's still in the game. I always forget that it's in the game. I know they give it to you as a campaign car now, but like, yeah. And then in terms of epics to max, nothing. You got some pretty decent epics, right? You got the CT6 and you got the Z06, and I do like how you have the M3 CS Max, considering BMW is your thing, so that's really, really cool as well. And the Camaro Z28 is a good car, and you maxed it out the right way. I didn't even do that, so props to you. But that being said, I mean, I guess you can focus on the 911 Carrera S because it's German and German's your thing, and you actually do have the Macan Turbo. But that being said though, there are a lot of better epics out there. You can save the ultra rares and wait for an even better epic. You know, especially when it comes to German cars, the M3 CS is one of the best BMW epics to get. So I'm happy you have that. You know, getting a second one, maxing that out, that'll be a power move. But really, if I were you, I would wait for, I know the chances of this happening is incredibly low, but if you can drop an SLS Roadster, that would be nice. Or a Porsche GT3 RS, the green one, or a Porsche RSR. Those would be some really great German epics for you to collect. Last but not least, legendaries. I mean, it's pretty fundamental, right? Zonda F, McLaren 12C, Macan Turbo. Now, I wouldn't do anything about them. I would just leave them as they are, right? You don't have a legendary above RQ90 yet, and if there was any legendary that you want to really focus on or max out for your first one, you really want it to be an RQ90. In terms of these cars, the three that you have, they're not going to help you in a Tri-Series anytime soon. We had the Zonda being useful in Riders of the Storm. We had the Macan Turbo being useful in the Zonda Revolution finals, and the 12C is never going to be useful in the final because everybody has it. So Hutch would be like, what's the point? So really, there's no legendary worth upgrading here, but I would say just be happy with what you got. Your higher tier is actually pretty good, and you're really blessed to get the CT6 so early. It took me 3 years of top drives, of playing top drives religiously as well, to really get my first CT6. I got it on Black Friday, so for you to get that early is really great. You also have the best Chevrolet Epic in the game, which shouldn't be because the Lincoln Filter should be the best, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of patch upgrade changes, whatever it'll be. But for now, at least, Z06 is the best one in the game. Used to be legendary even. If you can get that maxed out, I think it's like 3098. It's a really good car. Really, really good car. RQ79s almost never fail. But that said, that is it. So Naka, that is your garage. Thank you for submitting it to me on my Discord channel. Really, really appreciate it, and I hope this video helped you out a lot. Like I said, not a lot of notes for the higher IQs. I think what you should really focus on right now would be some of your lower RQ ones, and I think that'll be a bit easier for you as well. So let me know how it goes. You're in my server. Ping me anytime you want. I can check out your progression anytime. But that said, guys, that's going to be the episode for Garage Review. It's nice to have this back on the channel, and we will see who is next. Actually, I know who's next because I'm going to be writing notes on him literally after this. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.